All right, Celtics post-game live. Tom Giles, Eddie House. Celtics falling 118-117 to the Utah Jazz in Salt Lake City. And Eddie, it feels like something we've seen before a number of times with this team so far this year. And for whatever reason, the Jazz making the plays down the stretch and the Celtics unable to match it.
Yeah, and then, not being able to close out possessions defensively. And at the same time, you don't want to look and say, oh, we were shorthanded, because at the end of the day, we had an opportunity to win the game. We controlled some of the controllables that were out there for the Celtics to have, and this game will be a win, and they'll be having a day off tomorrow, feeling good about themselves. Instead, the day off is going to be focusing in on what do they do to prepare for a Sacramento team, and a team in Sacramento that feels like they belong, and they're going to come even harder than Utah did. So it's one of those games, another game that got let go, that you let go of a game that you were in control of. And again, it's not excusable, and nobody's going to make any excuses for them. But at the same time, these are things that you got to look at and say, hey, man, what are we trying to do? All
right, let's go through the final 2 minutes of how this thing ended up in Utah's favor, because the Celtics were up by 4. It was 114-110. And they had Ochai Agbaji with this three-pointer to make it a 1-point game. It was 114-113 at that point. Celtics come back down the floor and respond as Grant Williams finds Jaylen Brown for the corner 3. So the Celtics went back up by 4 once again. But defensively, you see Lauri Markkanen get an open look here. Maybe some miscommunication. Celtics losing their guy, and it's once again a 1-point game. Jason Tatum comes back down the other way with the Celtics up by 1. Tries to get to the rim. Little fall-away jumper here is no good. And that gave Utah an opportunity to take the lead. Horton Tucker delivers, gets the layup at the rim. So Utah takes a 118-117 lead at that point. Now, Jason Tatum takes the quick shot here, the 3 from the top of the key. That's off. Celtics elect to play it out. Look to play defense here. And it works out because Horton Tucker loses the ball out of bounds with 5 seconds to go in the game. So with 5 seconds to go, Celtics with an opportunity to win it. The inbounds goes to Grant Williams, tries to attack the rim, and comes up empty. And that's how the Utah Jazz win this game, 118-117. And once again, Eddie, you go through all those highlights, and what we saw there was Jaylen Brown 3, but otherwise Celtics unable to do anything else in the final 2 minutes offensively. But what about defensively? Losing Lauri Markkanen there, allowing Horton Tucker to get to the basket.
Yeah, well, the miscommunications defensively, and those are things that are, when I say controllables, those are things you can control, making sure that you're doing the right thing defensively. Miss or make shots, or sometimes a bad read, you might be thinking something offensively, and it kind of throws things off. But defensively, you know exactly what your job is and what you need to do out there. I think right there at the end, we've seen a couple of defensive mistakes that cost us, and then also think some offensive mistakes. At the same time, you don't mind Jason Tatum coming down, taking a shot. Now, this is nitpicking. Coming down, taking that quick shot, get the 2 for 1. Yeah. Would you rather have a 2 for 1? Would you rather get a good basket? And then on the flip side, when Grant Williams finally is having a game,
yeah,
you can't be mad at him for thinking, because when you look at the stat sheet and look at the numbers that he put up tonight, he was one of the better offensive players that we had on the court tonight. And so you can't be mad at him for trying to make a play. But at the same time, I just feel like, again, it's one of those games we let go of the rope. And we've heard that time and time again.
Too many times.
And it's on the defensive end.
All right, let's go through that final play one more time, because I can't imagine that was the plan there, because Grant's trying to take on 2 bigs. But we'll take multiple looks at it. What did you see on this play, Eddie?
Well, yeah, he had an opportunity to get to the bat, but where everybody else is just like standing. So the pass to Sam Hauser would have been extremely tough. The angle, if you look right here, Jaylen is locked up, and then the turnover is showed. That was like the only action that really could happen was for him to try to get a basket. If you look at how Utah defended that, they did collapse, and Hauser was open in the corner, because that was the only guy that helped off. Malcolm never came into play. He stayed out of bounds the whole time. So it was a pass, a quick action, and it was the action that I guess that was drew up in the huddle, and so you got to live with it. And, you live or die with that shot, but it doesn't come down to that play. It comes down to all the offensive rebounds and the second chance opportunities and all those things in the missed opportunity. You was up 19 points. So that play didn't dictate a win or loss. It does when somebody looks at that last play, but it built up to you being in that situation where that's what you had to do.
17 offensive rebounds from Utah, as you mentioned too there. Celtics, though, with the loss, now fall to third place in the Eastern Conference standings. It was just a few weeks ago. They were alone in first. We're talking about the number one seed, but now you got the Philadelphia 76ers slotted in that second place there. So they're technically even, but, the Celtics a game behind in the loss column. Let's bring in Scal now. And Scal, just want to get your thoughts on the final 2 minutes, what you saw unfold out in Utah.
I mean, to me, it was obviously the offensive glass throughout the game. Late in the game, Lauri Markkanen just getting to that right hand, whether it be a dribble handoff or a pin down. And the guy's 7 foot. It's pretty athletic. Once he gets going downhill, it's tough to stop that. We were running isolation plays, but shout out to the Celtics spacing throughout the game, and it's amazing they shot the ball so well and still lost. There's all those numbers where if you're 22 threes, they've never lost. They shoot over 40% or 39.5%, then they're also undefeated this season. But if you don't rebound, and Eddie has said this many times, if you don't rebound, you're not winning. That's just, we get enamored by all kinds of other things in this game. We talk about sharing the ball. We talk about kumbaya and s'mores and chemistry and all that stuff. I mean, it's about like the little things. And this game, I thought the ball pressure wasn't where it needed to be. It gave Utah confidence. And the rebound was nowhere where it needed to be. And we did a lot of good things, but if you don't do that, you're not winning. That's just how this NBA goes.
Yeah, we always talk about win by the three, die by the three. We shot the ball great tonight, but what we didn't do was the other things. And Scal, you were talking about not putting ball pressure on guys and making it easy for them. They having straight line drives and coming off of screens and picks with no pressure or no resistance. Yeah, those things are going to come back to bite you. And then on top of that, the effort on the defensive glass to make sure you close out the possession with the rebound. I just feel like there was a lackluster effort on that end at times. At times we played well and did it great in spurts, but collectively for the whole game, I just think that was pretty much what killed us, man. That was our Achilles heel tonight. It had nothing to do with our offense. It had everything to do with our defense. And that's one thing that I've been looking at lately for myself with this team, analyzing this team and saying, okay, we can shoot with everybody. We can do these other things offensively when it comes down to it. We can have spacing. We can share the ball. But when we got to get a stop, do we have the ball pressure? Do we have the wherewithal to get the rebound and not give up a second possession? And tonight, it doesn't happen every night like that. But tonight was one of those nights, and you had to expect that from a team who's fighting for their playoff life.
Yeah, they're now slotted inside the play-in tournament with this win, the Utah Jazz are. Scal, I don't know if you got a chance to see another angle of it, another look of it, because it's going to be the play that everyone's talking about at the end of the game. So what did you see on that play? What did you expect to see?
So I haven't heard Joe Mazzulla talk. I don't know if you guys have played it yet. My guess is that Grant Williams is supposed to get the catch and dribble handoff backwards to Jason Tatum so he can get the ball on the move. I'm not sure Joe Mazzulla said, all right, here's the play. Grant, you're going to go one-on-one and score over these. That cannot have been the play. So I don't know what he's going to say. Tatum standing there looking bewildered at the top of the key. I'm telling you, maybe he just saw Markkanen on his high side and said, okay, I got to go to the basket. But one way or another, that play, the ball has to find Tatum. Unless it's clear-cut, wide open, and two guys run to Tatum 35 feet, 50 feet from the basket, Tatum's got to get that ball.
Yeah, man, come on. I mean, what else is supposed to happen? We all know who's supposed to get. Everybody in America on planet Earth knows who's supposed to get the ball. And if he doesn't get the ball, then we know who the other guy is supposed to get the ball and get an opportunity to shoot it. And the fact that we didn't get it, But what I look at is I look at that play, and when Grant got it, he was already kind of coming down to his right hand, right? And Malcolm Brogdon never stepped in. The only person that he could have really did anything with that basketball and made a play for anybody would have been Sam Hauser, and that would have been kind of going against his body and kicking it to his right as he was already going downhill to his left. So I just don't like the draw up of the play, period. I just think that it was right now, this is what's going to happen, and we have no other is no secondary play, is no secondary action. It's you're going to get this, you're going to make this play, and I feel like Grant just panicked. He was like, well, it's not there. What do I do now? Okay, I'm going to just go try to make something happen. And it didn't happen for him. It
didn't happen. Didn't happen for the Celtics. They fall 118 to 117 in Salt Lake City to the Utah Jazz. Let's check in on DraftKings Sportsbook. Scal, this game played out pretty much the way you kind of thought it would, where the Celtics were very good in the first half on the second night of a back-to-back. How much do you think it being the second night of a back-to-back played into the fact that they weren't able to hold on to that 19-point lead we saw early, midway through the second quarter, and even the run they made in the fourth quarter?
I mean, if that's you want to use that excuse, that's fine. Like if you think that them on a back-to-back means they don't rebound, them on a back-to-back they don't pressure the ball, then yeah, sure. I guess that's the reason why they didn't do that. I just felt like, like when you have different guys in there, like Malcolm Brogdon didn't play. Other guys, maybe they were tired, but if you're not going to play with defensive intensity, then you got to shoot the heck out of the ball. If you're not going to rebound, you got to shoot the heck out of the ball. And we did. We still lost. So it is how I kind of thought, but I just felt like the Celtics could have played with more ball pressure. Like I'll remind you once again, the Jazz do not have a point guard. They don't have one, not one. Talon Horton-Tucker is a good player. He's not a point guard. Dunn was out of the league. He's not a point guard. So I just thought that would be the key to, in the second half, to kind of righten the ship, and they didn't do it. Yeah,
you made a note on the broadcast, too. In that third quarter said zero ball pressure right now from the Celtics, and it certainly caught up to them there. All right, thanks, Cal. DraftKings Sportsbook is live. Bet local with Boston's hometown sportsbook this week. New customers who sign up and bet $5 get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code BANNERS when you sign up. All right, Celtics again fall by 1 to the Jazz and fall to 49-23 on the season.